Hello and welcome back to another episode on Overlay DFS. I am your host, Ira Silver, and I'm feeling good. I don't know about you, but we got a good one for you today. We're going to go over the NFL Week 3 matchups on OverlayDFS.com for your chance to win over $26,000. Are you sick and tired of playing and losing on FanDuel and DraftKings? I know I am. That's why I joined to start the revolution on OverlayDFS.com. Overlay DFS is a start-sit format. It's as simple as that. You pick who you want to play and who you want to fade. And without further ado, let's get into sharing the screen and going over the matchups on OverlayDFS.com. So here we got, so the object of the game, for those of you who are new to the channel, each player is matched up another player, and you got to decide who's going to have more total fantasy points. Like, for instance, Lamar Jackson versus Dak Prescott. Who is going to have more total fantasy points for Sunday? And if you finish in the top 10% of the entries in your contest, you will go ahead and win 9 times your buy-in. So in the $100 game, you will go ahead and win $900. You'll get $900 for finishing in the top 10%. If you go a perfect 12-0, there is a bonus of over $26,000 right now. Right now, it's up to $26,100. And like I said, if you finish in the top 10%, you win $900. So let's go over some of these matchups. Lamar Jackson is playing in Kansas City, and he is matched up against Dak Prescott, who is playing the Miami Dolphins. This one's going to be an interesting one. Dak has a cupcake matchup against the junior varsity Miami Dolphins. But Lamar Jackson is going to be playing a high-flying Kansas City offense where he's going to have to keep his team in the game here. So I think this one's going to shape out to be a good one. We don't know which way the Miami game is going to go. We don't know if they're going to use Dak and everyone's going to be gone by the third quarter, fourth quarter to save him for the playoffs, so to speak. You don't want to get him banged up too much. You don't want to leave him in too late if they're up 35-0. So it'll be an interesting one to see who gets more fantasy points in that matchup. So for instance, what you do is you just click on the names you want. And here you can see on the side of the screen, it's building a lineup. And this is your most confident pick. Lamar Jackson will be your number 12. You get 12 tiebreaker points here if you get Lamar Jackson right. So if you get Lamar right, you get a win. If you get it wrong and Dak wins the matchup, you get a loss. Last week, I believe 9-3 and 8-4 took it down in the $22 and the $109 tournaments. So the money basically, some weeks you got to finish 8-4, some weeks you got to finish 7-5, and some weeks you're gonna have to finish 9-3 to make the money. But that's the great thing about it. You don't have to go perfect to make good money. You win $900 in this $100 game if you go ahead and you finish in the money. And then one day the stars are just going to align and you're going to go ahead and hit this big jackpot bonus at $26,100. And that keeps growing every single week until someone hits it. It keeps rolling over. Next on the board here, we got Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Tom Brady obviously playing the New York Jets, who are very shorthanded this week. Their third-string quarterback, Luke Falk, will be, I believe he will be starting. Simeon's out for the season. He has an ankle. I believe he hurt his ankle last game, and Sam Darnold is out with mono. So Tom Brady against the, I'd call him a JV team in the Jets here, just like Miami, just because they're missing their starting quarterback. But at least they're trying. Miami's not even trying. And he is going up against Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers on the overlay matchup. Again, you need to choose who's going to score more fantasy points. Aaron Rodgers will be at home playing the Denver Broncos. They have a little bit of a tough defense. But the Denver Broncos are just, like I said, a team that I want to fade all season long, especially in the Super Contest. Let's look at another couple interesting matchups here. You got Matt Ryan versus Phillip Rivers. I know I skipped the one above. I'm just going to pick out a few matchups here, which I think are interesting. Go over them real quick because you guys don't want to hear me talk about every single pick. I mean, let's be real. Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers should be a fun showdown there. They're both playing, teams with high offenses, so it should be a fun, high-scoring affair. Another matchup I really like on the board here is Jared Goff versus Baker Mayfield. Jared Goff versus Baker Mayfield, Sunday Night Football. They're both playing each other. The Rams are playing at Cleveland. Baker showed signs of brilliance last week on Monday Night Football but he was playing the Jets, who are very shorthanded. Jared Goff hasn't looked the same to me all season. but he looks like he's starting to come around. It'll be interesting to see who wins this battle here. But I'm not going to give away who I would lean and which way I would lean, but one of these guys I think should have a big day. Let's get to some of the running back matchups here. We got Saquon Barkley versus Ezekiel Elliott. Battle of the two titans here in fantasy football. Saquon going up against Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa Bay, and Dallas is at home against Miami. So both teams should be running the ball a lot. Saquon should be in the game, like his team, the Giants, and against Tampa Bay should be more of a competitive game than the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. So it'll be interesting to see how much Ezekiel gets the ball. And if he does score heavy and early and the Dallas Cowboys are up big early, will Zeke play in the second half? That is a big question. He isn't 100% in his conditioning, so it'll be interesting to see that matchup as well. Another great matchup here, Christian McCaffrey versus Dalvin Cook, two of the top running backs in the league. I think McCaffrey will be shorthanded this week as Cam Newton, I do not think he will be playing. It is Wednesday evening, 5:30 p.m. I'm hearing reports he's not going to be playing. So keep your eyes on that. I don't know, but they are playing Arizona. So even without Cam, I think Christian should have a pretty good day. He's going to be obviously heavily involved both in the run and the passing game. Dalvin Cook is a stud this season, though. I wouldn't look past him either. Another interesting matchup here, wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins versus Julio Jones. We all saw Julio Jones take it to the house on fourth down on Sunday Night Football. DeAndre Hopkins had a little bit of a tough game last week. I look for him to rebound and bounce back here against the Chargers on the road. Another great fun matchup here that we have for you is Alvin Kamara versus Michael Thomas. I like the running back wide receiver matchups. I just think it's a lot of fun and a different twist on what everyone else out there has. I don't know which way I'm going to lead, but the Saints are reporting that Bridgewater and Taysom Hill are going to be getting reps in this one. It kind of feels like a little bit of a college football game plan because they will be going with two quarterbacks. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up with the most fantasy points there, given the fact that Drew Brees is going to be out. Another fun one here, as long as Antonio Brown is going to be playing and he doesn't get suspended or on the exemption list by the NFL, we have a fun one for you here. Antonio Brown versus his former teammate Le'Veon Bell. Brown's going up against the Jets, and Le'Veon is going up against the Patriots. So former teammates squaring off against each other on Sunday morning. Another interesting matchup we have is Chris Godwin versus Mike Evans, teammates. I think that it's going to be whoever has the hot hand is who Jameis is going to be throwing the ball to. So look to see who's going to be catching fire a little early and expect that day to continue to be great for them. I think it's going to be a close one here. Not sure which side I would take, but I do know who I like better as a fantasy player, but I won't tell. Juju versus Nick Chubb, another interesting matchup there. Here's a fun one. Last week, Stephon Diggs versus Adam Thielen versus Stephon Diggs. They've been matched up against each other every week so far. And last week, I don't know if you guys saw it, on the last play of the game, Stephon Diggs caught about a 10-yard pass and tried to lateral it, ended up costing himself a fumble, and he was ahead in the fantasy matchup here against Thielen, and his fumble on the last play of the game put him behind Thielen, and Thielen owners scooped this W here. So that was a nail biter and a freak play that really cost Stephon Diggs the win there on Overlay DFS. T.Y. Hilton against Marlon Mack, Brandon Cooks versus Robert Woods, Kerryon Johnson versus Kenny Galladay. That's another fun one. Chris Carson versus Tyler Lockett. Another one I really like is Odell Beckham versus Devontae Adams, two top wide receivers going head-to-head on Overlay DFS. Who will have the most fantasy points? I don't know, but it should be a fun one to see, to follow along with throughout the day. What else we got here for you that's interesting? We got Julian Edelman versus Sony Michel. Looks like we went away from the James White Sony Michel battle. Looks like Edelman versus Michel is going to be the new one here for this week. We got John Ross versus Tyler Boyd on the same team. Another fun one we have is James White versus Josh Gordon. That'll be fun. And Another one I really like is Christian Kirk versus Larry Fitzgerald. The battle of the youngster versus the battle of the OGs. The OG Mr. Fitzgerald versus the young man Christian Kirk. That'll be an interesting one. Kyler Murray looks great. Carolina looked a little spotty at times. However, their defense did look pretty okay. So it'll be interesting to see who has a hot hand there. I don't, Kyler Murray is going to have a tough day, I think, against Carolina. However, I do, you saw last week against Baltimore, which is a top defense, he threw for 350 yards. So keep an eye on that one. I think that'll be really fun. And just a couple lines, as we get, like I said before, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt what I was saying before, but the money took it down last week with 9-3 and 8-4. So all you got to do is just be right there. If you're right in that zone, you're right in that win-loss record, as long as your confidence points, the tiebreakers, I think you're going to go ahead and make the money. Some weeks everyone will kind of shit the bed and it'll be 7-5 record. Who knows? And sometimes people will go on a little bit of a hot run and finish 11-1 and 10-2. But the object here is just stay consistent, win the 9 times your money, kind of like a poker tournament. Just stay consistent. And once you make the money, sometimes you might just get lucky. You just pick a core 6-7 guys you really like who you think you're going to get W's. Stay consistent, get lucky with the other 6 guys, whatever. And finish 12-0, win 26,100. Why not? Everyone can use the 26 grand. I don't know what I would do with it, but I'm sure I have a couple ideas. I don't know what you would do with it, and I'm sure you do too. A couple things I wanted to talk about as well before we wrap here. The Super Contest lines for Week 3 were released. This should be an interesting one. I'm not sure who we're going to take just yet. But just to rattle off some interesting matchups here, you have Denver on the road in Green Bay. Green Bay is -7.5. The Eagles are 0-2 at home, -6 against the Detroit Lions. I think it's a must-win spot for the Eagles. I know we were on the Eagles last week in the Millions contest, but I think this is another good spot for them. They had just got let down twice. They are a little banged up, so I will give you that. The Eagles are banged up. So I'm going to have to put a little bit more thought into this as the week progresses. But Eagles 0-2 at home, someone's got to step up for them. They're laying 6. It might be a good spot. Keep on the injury news there. 2 huge point spreads. Dallas Cowboys are 21.5-point favorites at home against the junior varsity Miami Dolphins. And the New England Patriots are 22.5-point favorites against the New York Jets. Again, another team struggling with injuries, which makes them almost like a junior varsity team. Minnesota at home, 8.5 against the Oakland Raiders. Arizona Cardinals are a 3-point favorite against the camless Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay is -6.5 at home against the Giants. Giants have benched Eli Manning and are turning to Daniel Jones at quarterback, see what he has there. Seattle at home, laying 4 to New Orleans. Sean Payton's a good coach, so we'll see what kind of game plan he dials up here with his injury to Drew Brees and some time to prepare the game plan. But it should be a fun one to watch. I know I'll be watching there on Sunday afternoon. And Sunday night, Cleveland at home is getting 3. So they're going to probably be a popular home dog. I'm not really sure. I haven't put too much thought into these lines since they just came out today. But Cleveland +3 at home might be a popular play. And then on Monday Night Football, you got the Washington Redskins getting 4 points, a home dog again against the 0-2 Chicago Bears in a must-win situation for them. Thursday night game is Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone knows that the home team has won a majority of these matchups here on Thursday night, even though it didn't really pan out last week with the Carolina Panthers. But I don't know who I really like in this spot. I got to monitor the injury news. If you do pick a Thursday night game, the deadline is Thursday afternoon, I believe. So Thursday midday. So keep an eye what's going on there early in the morning in Tennessee and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I might play this game. I'm not sure. I can't really decide who I want to play. It might be a stay away game for me, but I was really impressed with the Jaguars last week. But, you know, Tennessee, I believe they're coming off a tough loss last week. Yeah, they lost 19-17 at home against the Colts. So they're coming off a tough loss. They might bounce back and take it to the Jaguars. And obviously, Jalen Ramsey is complaining a lot here and is demanding a trade. So it'll be a fun one. My favorite game of the week that I'm looking forward to watching, I don't know if I'll be having a pick on this side of the game, but it'll be the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs. That'll be a really fun one. See how Lamar Jackson does in that battle there and see how Patrick Mahomes handles himself against a top-notch defense. That's it. That's all I got for you today. If you could please smash the subscribe and the like buttons, it would mean the world to me. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at OverlayDFS. Once again, please hit the subscribe, hit the like. If you comment below, I'll enter you for a free chance to win a $22 ticket into the $22 progressive game on Sunday. So if you comment with your username, go ahead and sign up on OverlayDFS.com. You subscribe, you like, and you comment your username. I will go ahead and try to get you in that $22 game on Sunday. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. I'll see you on Friday to go over the super contest picks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.